And now, aviation weather around Alaska.
Hello, I'm National Weather Service meteorologist Peter Chan with your Alaska Aviation Weather Outlook on this Wednesday, July 17th. And this outlook will be for Thursday and Friday as we round out this week. We continue to have IFR conditions expected across a good portion of the Gulf, extending up into Prince William Sound, the east side of the Kenai, much of the Bering Sea off of the southwest and west coast, and then just offshore, the Beaufort Sea there, IFR conditions there expected in the far north. One thing is that the heavier rains that are currently moving through this Wednesday through the Panhandle, especially the northern and central areas, are going to become more scattered rain showers here Thursday into Friday. There is another little secondary low that's going to bring an area of rain and rain showers across the Panhandle again Thursday. With just some scattered lighter showers in the remnants of that, especially for Friday, lingering into Saturday. And as we go into Thursday afternoon, we do find improving conditions to VFR across much of the Panhandle, though there still will be some showers around. Far north, eastern and interior, we are looking at the potential for a few scattered showers and thunderstorms could pop up with the afternoon heating Thursday into Thursday evening. East side of the Brooks Range, eastern half of the Yukon Flats. Still extensive IFR conditions out over the Bering and through the Aleutians, well off the west-southwest coast. For Friday morning, we find IFR conditions off the coast there along the Beaufort Sea, down through the Bering Strait. Areas of the Seward Peninsula into Norton Sound, lower Yukon Delta, Nunavik Island, westward to St. Paul, and all through the Aleutian chain. MVFR through the lower Gulf, and then VFR conditions expected across much of the mainland interior. And as we get into Friday afternoon, we expect VFR conditions to hold across much of the mainland interior, including areas of at least the northern Panhandle. The feature that's going to be developing over the course of the weekend is a stronger mid and upper level ridge of high pressure that's going to allow for some clearing skies and much warmer temperatures to return this weekend into early next week across the central eastern interior. I fully expect temperatures to be back up in the 70s with some readings actually getting into the 80s, the normally warm spots such as Fort Yukon and the like. So keep that in mind. There could be enough instability with the warmer temperatures even across south central by Saturday evening for a few isolated showers, rumble of thunder in the Talkeetna Mountains possibly as well. So the past conditions Thursday looking VFR across the east central Brooks Range at Anatuvik as well as Adigan Pass. So as you get east of Adigan Pass, there could be some cumulus buildups and perhaps isolated shower that could have a rumble or two of thunder. For Lake Clark and Merrill, generally MVFR conditions along the Alaska Range start out Thursday morning, giving way to VFR conditions. Same thing, rainy pass up through the central Alaska Range, windy pass, MVFR in the morning, giving way to VFR. Isabel and Mentasta Pass through the eastern Alaska Range will also see MVFR conditions early in the day give way to VFR. Tanita Pass, same kind of situation, much of the Copper River Basin, MVFR in the early morning, giving way to VFR conditions. And Portage Pass will see MVFR in the morning, give way to VFR. And once you get out there along and east of the east entrance, IFR conditions early Thursday morning, giving way to VFR conditions by afternoon. And Chilkoot and White, similar theme, MVFR conditions there in the far northern Panhandle in the morning, giving way to VFR. And looking at the freezing levels aloft, we do have higher freezing levels over northwest Canada, British Columbia, rising upwards of 8, 10, 12,000 feet as you get there towards central Canada. The interior mainland actually has a trough, a little colder pool of air aloft, so the freezing levels are lower, generally at or even below 6,000 feet. The Wrangell St. Elias Mountains actually there around 4,000 down to the surface. And then off to the west, we do have some higher freezing levels out over the lower Bering, up around 10,000 feet, and 12,000 feet just to the southwest of the central Aleutians in the North Pacific. And where there are areas of precipitation or thicker cloud cover, we do find the potential for some moderate icing across areas of Kotzebue Sound, lower Chukchi Sea above 8,000 feet, the north side of the Seward Peninsula around Shishmaref and Kivalina. And then further south, we find some isolated to moderate icing possible from the south side of the Alaska Range, going down through the Mat-Su Valley across the Kenai Peninsula, above generally 8,000 feet, because there is still the potential of some showers in this area as we deal with yet lingering moisture and another little disturbance that will be affecting that area on Thursday. Upper level jet stream winds 30,000 feet. We still have this trough axis here through the mainland. Ahead of it, winds are south-southwest, upwards of 80-90 knots above northwest Canada. West side of the mainland, winds are generally 65 to 80 knots out of the north to even a little bit northeast, and that extends down across the Alaska Peninsula. At 9,000 feet or 700 millibars, no real notable strong winds anywhere around the mainland of Alaska or the Gulf of Alaska. We do have some belt of winds trying to nudge upwards to the central Aleutians. And then for Thursday, we find most of the southern half of the mainland relatively lighter winds along the Gulf Coast into the Panhandle. The winds westerly out over the lower Chukchi Sea 30 to as high as 40 knots back toward eastern Russia. And then we do have circulation around a low that's just to the south of the western Aleutians, and that will bring a band of winds 30 to 40 knots up to and just north of the western and central Aleutians there on Thursday. So the greatest threat of any turbulence, moderate turbulence, will be out across portions of the central Aleutian, surface to 3,000 feet on Thursday. And there could be some isolated moderate turbulence along areas, the spine of the Brooks Range, up through the northern central North Slope to along the western and central Arctic coast from areas around Point Hope and Cape Lisburne up through Utqiagvik eastward to around Dead Horse, and then again along the spine of the Brooks Range, surface to 4,000 feet.